And welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. This is episode 362. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more episode, and if you're new, I hope you enjoy today's episode and you'll come out and check us out in the future. So today will probably be a pretty quick episode as I don't have much to show. I've made a little bit of progress on everything, which I will show. However, no finishes, no extravagant travel, no stash enhancement, fair warning. But you do want to stick around and just kind of see what I've been working around and hear some stories, chit chat. I've got dogs zonked out around my craft cart. We'll see if they want to get engaged or not, but they've been getting used to me crafting in here, and when there's no one else at home, aka Andy's not on the couch for them to snuggle up on, they usually come up and zonk out on the floor behind me. So anyway, the past 2 weeks have been what they have been. It's been pretty warm. 2 days ago, our air conditioning at the studio went out after we just had ductwork installed and fixed and more vents put in, and had the air conditioning cleaned. We noticed 2 days in a row that it had gone out, and we called them and they said, well, check your breaker. And Andy's like, well, I checked a bunch of other stuff, but I didn't check the breaker. So we flipped the breaker back on, and it worked, but the next day it came off. So we're like, well, we knew we were going to need to call because obviously it's switching off for a reason. So it's probably safe that it's off. But then Andy went to weed eat in the back of the studio because there's like an open lot behind our studio. It used to be part of the... So our building is a little side building attached to a corner building on our square that was originally a hotel. And somebody just bought the building and they are revamping it. But the building used to go like an L around the block, and it used to go behind our building, and there used to, I guess, be a really small alleyway between the back of the building and our building. Well, they tore that down years ago, and so it's a big empty lot. And since they've bought this building that's not been getting mowed as regularly as when it was owned by the city. And so somebody came and mowed it, but they didn't weed eat, and we were having some really tall weeds in the back, and it's technically on our property anyway. So Andy went to weed eat, and I guess he kind of hit some exposed wire that shouldn't be there, and I don't know. Such is life, right? So we're hoping it's a quick fix because, and an inexpensive fix because we just put a good deal of money into the ventilation system. And in fact, we're hoping to do some small remodels around the studio in the hopes of shortly being able to open our studio as a shop. So not a yarn store per se, but a open studio. So we realized that our extensive renovation plans when we moved in are probably not the most feasible. They're not the most fiscal as a small business. And as great as it would be to bring back this building, this small building again, it was attached to the hotel as part of it. Our building was built in 1872. Again, part of this hotel. We can't exactly figure out what it was. My guess would be it was like the lobby, or it was like a side bar area. So I don't know, because our building's only one story with a full basement. But you can see that the full basement at one point had entrances and windows down in the front end of the basement, which is now the sidewalk. But all of our buildings on the square were in fact one level lower, and they built up over the years. I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to explain, but I like to think that it was a prohibition entrance. But so a lot of history. Our building doesn't look like a lot of history, but it does have brick walls, which we now have walls in front of. We wanted to expose the brick walls. The more we're realizing that our brick walls are exposed in the basement and they're not the best, so it's probably better not to expose them because it would be a lot more money to renovate them. Not to mention the upkeep of crumbling brick walls and having to, either seal them, or you're going to have to constantly sweep, and to have our yarn pretty close to those walls. So we're going to keep the walls. We have a drop-down ceiling. We really wanted to expose the tin roof ceiling, but I'm sure it's asbestos paint and all that. It's a beautiful ceiling up there, but it would need a lot of restoration work. And unfortunately, it's just not in the cards right now. So we realized with talking with people and doing stuff that some quick renovations of painting, taking down the old dog wallpaper, because our studio used to be a dog groomer's, which is perfect for our needs. But taking down the old wallpaper and painting, which I'm not having anything to do with. I told Andy he wants to save money and do it himself. Amanda, my sister, and our studio assistant said she likes painting, Andy doesn't, that they would do it. So we're doing paint swatches. We're realizing that we want a slight gray. The grays we thought were a little too dark, so we're going to have to get some more swatches. We got some flooring swatches. We're going to put in some waterproof vinyl so that everything is completely waterproof in the studio. Right now we have 3 different floors in the studio, so yeah. So again, progressing and trying to do it in a financially responsible way, which I'm very lucky to have Andy for, because we get into a lot of, not arguments, we have had arguments, but we clash heads a lot because I want to move forward and go with the momentum that we have. And he's like, we need to be responsible. So I've slowly been surely getting new racks in the studio. I need to get in about a third more racks for downstock, but we're waiting to make progress on paying off the building because we got our studio very cheap. Central Illinois, small town, old building, very cheap. But we want to pay for it all so that we don't have a mortgage, in case business isn't always great. But luckily, it has been so far. So yeah, playing all those games. Hashtag adulting. Hashtag small business adventures. Hashtag dad jokes. I got a whole bunch of new shirts from Old Navy. Don't worry, I guac this. I actually will eat guacamole, but it's not my favorite thing. But I do like their t-shirts with their funny sayings, and usually I pick up a handful of them every summer. With COVID, we have not been able to travel and hit up an Old Navy, so they were doing a really good online deal, and I got a bunch of t-shirts, and I got a bunch of cardigans that I love. Because if you know me, if I find one article of clothing that I really, really like, hence my zip-up fleeces, I buy it in every color. So I found a blue cardigan with pockets, button-up cardigan that I loved. It was on clearance at an Old Navy last year. Well, they had them all on clearance for over 50% off, plus they were doing a 30% off sale. So I got raisin and matcha, and the other one hasn't shown up yet. It's like a soft white silver, so. Because I'm turning into a silver fox here. You guys can't see it, but my hair is a little bit long. And unless it's freshly buzzed, all my grays are coming in. I did trim my beard today because it was getting a bit scraggly, but yeah, the silver's coming in real quick. For those of you that don't know, I don't really know my dad. My dad left when I was 7. Haven't seen him since then. Haven't really had communication. It's not a sob story. I don't care. My life is better for it. In all honesty, probably. But he did reach out several years ago, probably about 8 years ago. And we did this quick Christmas selfie with the dog in front of the Christmas tree exchange. That's all that ever happened. He never responded because, real nice guy. But he was completely white. Like hair, beard, everything white. He looked like a Santa Claus, and I was like, oh, great. Thanks. So not only did you, leave, but you left me with these jeans, bald, with white coming in. Anyway. I guess I learned to ramble with stories when I don't have much to show. Is what it is. I'm enjoying my coffee. I had breakfast, I showered, coffee, going into the studio to ship out some more Cast of Characters mini skein club shipments. But anyway, episode 362. All right, what's taking a bow? Nothing. I have not finished anything. That's okay though, right? It's about the journey, not the destination. Wow, I am deep today. Huh. I gotta go with this. I'm gonna have some profound wisdom coming out today. All right, so first up for me are my building blocks socks. I'm knitting these for Andy using Knit Picks Felici in the building blocks colorway. And for my cuff, heel, and toe, I am using Leading Men Fiber Arts Intermission in the saffron colorway. I did finish the first sock. I think I showed these to you last episode, so not a whole lot of progress. I'm knitting these on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. And here's the second one. I probably put in like 10 rows on this last night. But I did get my afterthought heel done. So the leg is done. I'm working my way down the foot. And there's the saffron. So there's that. And nothing really exciting there. Next up for me is my Peeping Cowl by Joji Locatelli. I am using Quince & Company Finch in Bird's Egg, Iceland, Fox, and Smoke. And I am knitting this on a size 2.5 US, 3.0 millimeter. And I am finishing up the striping section after the lace that you saw last episode. So here we go. It is going to be a very long, scrunched up cowl. So you start with the bird's egg here. Well, that's the colors I'm using. And then you do a striping section. This is just some stockinette with eyelets and a bit of garter rows thrown in. Then you do a cabled section that I did with fox. Then you're striping 3 colors. Then this is smoke, and it's got this kind of feather and fan. It's a little bit different. I really liked this stitch pattern. It's got twisted stitches in it. And then again, I'm alternating. I've got one more dark smoke, 2 rounds to do, and then I will be using Iceland to do a final cable section, and then I think there's more striping and some ribbing. So it'll be like a cowl that's up to here when it's extended. It's not for me. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I wanted to knit it, and I had yarn and I stashed to knit it, so. Next up is my Bead Kerchief by Laura Nelkin. I am using Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Harvest colorway. Not much to show. I think I have another 12 rows to do before I split off and put on 400 and some beads onto my yarn. Now I will say this is an Andy dyed batch of Harvest. He dyes it differently than I do. His comes out more muted. Mine comes out more vibrant, and it all has to do, there's 4 colors in this colorway, and it all has to do in the order in which we put them in the pan. I put the orange and yellow in first so that they come out more vibrant, and he does not. He puts them in last. So, but I really love this center spine detail. It's a double yarn over twisted spine. But yeah, then there's going to be a sprinkling of beads in there, and then different beads placed on the bind off. And then the last thing that I have to show you was not planned at all. I was watching podcasts the other day, and Sarah from Love Sock Wool popped up with a new episode. She has not had a new episode in forever and a day. And she was talking about how she was crocheting a linen stitch triangle shawl, and that she really loved the monotony of it, and she loved that it wasn't very holey like a lot of crochet is, and that it was something different. And so I went in the search of different patterns and watching videos, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to do a marled linen stitch blanket with my basket O minis that I still have left over from my previous granny square blanket. So this is not a granny square, this is linen stitch. And I am holding the yarns doubled to get like a DK weight, 2 fingering weights. And I'm using an H hook, which is an 8. It's supposed to go up a hook size for this. However, I do not have a larger hook size. This is from my interchangeable hook set that I picked up from Wild Stitchers. They are available on Etsy, or you can check them out at festivals. They are out of Wisconsin, and it's an interchangeable hook set, so you can change the hooks, but this is the largest hook that they have, and then you pick your resin base, your resin handle, and you can switch them. So I'm holding the yarns doubled, and I'm holding a yarn for one way through and back, so 2 rows, but I'm switching yarns every row. So I may be holding color A and B together for the first row. I drop A and I add C with B, and then I drop B and I do C with D, and then I do across, and then I drop C and I do D with E. So I am loving this so much. Oh my goodness, I am so happy with this. I was gonna do fringe. I started off doing fringe. And I did not like how sparse it was, and I didn't want to have to add more fringe in. So I am crocheting my ends in. I know that's a no-no, but... So yeah, there you go. It is marled-tastic. And I am loving it. I did find a blanket that said to chain on. It's free, I think. Yeah, it was free. I didn't pay for it. Linen Stitch. It was online. It is not on Ravelry, so I couldn't really link it, though I did start a project page for this, unlike my last one. And it said to chain on 181. And I said, well, what's that divisible by? Because it doesn't look very long. And so I was like, well, if you split that in half, that's 90. So I added another 90. So I chained on 271. That's how my head works with math. But you can see here, I started to do fringe, but look how sparse it was. I mean, I would have trimmed it, but it was so sparse that I was like, oh, I don't want to add it in. And then when you knot it, it's going to be even knotted, you know. So I just started crocheting in my ends, and I don't think it's that bad. It's so colorful and amazing. It can be a good scarf too, if you wanted a shorter term project or you don't have as many scraps. But I'm excited for that, and I think it'll be able to show you progress as we go along. So I'll have to actually put in a progress keeper every week. All right. By the way, that pattern on Google is by Helena Catt, C-A-T-T. So if you Google it, you'll be able to find the pattern. It is just not linkable on Ravelry. So, all right, moving right along. In rehearsal, I'm still going to, when I finish the peeping cowl, I'm going to cast on the Bum Hugger Bolero out of some Wool in the Garing Crazy Sexy Wool that I showed you last episode for my sister. That should be a relatively quick knit. We'll see. But I got to finish some other stuff before I put other things on the needles. Spinning, I am plying finally my 8-ounce braid of Prairie Shepherd's Merino Top in the early morning colorway. My last couple of ounces, I was having issues with my wheel not wanting to uptake, and it was burning out because I was trying to put the tension on too much. I did need to grease it, put some oil on it, which I hate doing. I need to actually Google how to oil a mini spinner, because I just put oil in all these different crevices and then it flies oil for 2 weeks. It keeps getting all over my computer, it's all over my paperwork, and I just realized it's on my shades and it was on my floor, which I had to clean up. I'm sure there's a better way. But I am plying here. You can see on my Acreworks Lazy Kate, you can ply up to 4 bobbins at the same time. Is this a necessary tool? Absolutely not. Is it a bit of a spend? Yes, it is hardwood. It is handcrafted and 3D printed with these. Aiden does he has an amazing mind over at Acreworks. That's what my bobbins are. But yeah, I'm 2-plying that right now. It's going. But I will show that to you finished next episode. Who knows what will be on the wheel? We'll leave that up to chance in my random number generator to pick my next braid of fiber. So that's going. In the seam shop, my cross stitching, I did take it off of the Q-snap today. I am stitching up a piece called One for Sorrow. It is designed by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is off of Stephanie Pugh Moon Law. Let me grab the artwork. So here's what it will look like finished. And I am on page 4. I am stitching this 2/1 half stitch on 25 count easy count grid fabric. I purchased this as a material pack from the Heaven and Earth Designs website years ago, a couple years ago now. So yeah, enjoying it. Like I said, I think I'm gonna finish the top row and then I'm gonna work on a different project because while this is fun, I'm having the inkling to just do something a little bit different. I know that the next time I do a Heaven and Earth design, which I will, I love a lot of their designs. 98% of them is not my cup of tea, but there are plenty. They have so many designs. I will do 1/1 full cross stitch on it probably. I started up here doing 2/1 full cross stitch and it was a little too bulky for my liking. So, but that's going. I like this. I like making progress on that. All right, let's sit down and chat. Let's talk about what's in the spotlight. What am I watching and reading? We've been doing a lot of movie watching and TV watching. Every night we get together for a couple hours and sit on the couch and I craft and he plays on his phone in the background. We finished watching Hollywood. So good. It's produced by Ryan Murphy, so Glee, American Horror Story, American Crime Story, Pose, so many other things. His new show Ratched is coming out next month and I'm so waiting for it. It was very good. I enjoyed it. If you like period costumes, it's set in the 1940s in Hollywood. And it's about the story of several young actors and creatives trying to make it big in Hollywood after the war. And my greatest way to explain it at the end, there's only 7 episodes. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, earmuffs. But if you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's kind of like a what if this had happened scenario. And that is very much where it goes. It is not believable in a lot of what happens and what takes place and how things transpire, but it's more of a what if it had happened this way. There are some figures, historical figures in acting and the entertainment industry that play a role in this series, and while their characters start following their original storyline, it does veer off from there. But highly, highly recommend that. That is through Netflix. And then we watched several movies. The first, I believe, was on Hulu, and we watched The Wretched. This is a B horror movie, but I was fairly impressed with the acting and the production quality. It is about a witch that feeds off of the forgotten. So this witch has the power to possess like mother figures and women, and then they go about making families forget about their children, like forget they have them, and feeds on them. You don't really see that once towards the end. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting. It was a different storyline. It was not something that I'd seen a lot of. And it's basically about a young teenage boy who visits his father for the summer, and he, witnesses things happening in his neighbor's house and starts to want to follow them, and people think he's crazy and, that kind of story. But I did think it was pretty good. So that was The Wretched. Then if you're looking for a fun movie to sit and relax on a summer evening and not invest much in, again, I believe we watched it on Hulu, The Hustle. This stars Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson. I thought it was cute. It's basically about Anne Hathaway is a high-profile con artist of men in France, and Rebel Wilson is a low-end con artist looking to make it big in the higher-end market in France. And so she goes out there and things happen, and Anne Hathaway takes her under her wing and then kind of extorts her, and then they get extorted, and it's cute. It's funny. I do not like Anne Hathaway's British accent, but... And then we watched Dr. Sleep. This stars Ewan McGregor, and it is based off the Stephen King novel, which is a sequel to The Shining. I read Dr. Sleep several years ago when I was teaching. It is a long book. I read it during our SSR time, which is sustained silent reading. We would do that 10 hours a period. So as I taught every hour, I had English every hour. I got to read 10 minutes, while monitoring. I thought it was really good. I thought they did well with staying true to the book. It is a longer movie. It is over 2.5 hours. But I think Andy, having known nothing, he's never seen The Shining, he was intrigued and followed along with that as well. And he was able to follow along with some of the... there's more paranormal to it, so it is a Stephen King paranormal. And so I would definitely check that out. I thought it was pretty good. And then I finished listening to a book, Wolf Song by T.J. Klune. I have heard about this book many times on the Knit Girls. They both love T.J. Klune. I have read his Tales of Verania series, at least 3 of them. The first one is Lightning Struck Heart. I do love that series. I think it's so snarky and so just witted about it. There's this dry wit about it, and I really like that, and I loved the narrator of that series. So I thought I would give Wolf Song a try, especially after I heard about Kevin of Needles at the Ready podcast. He said he's been listening to it and he's been following along. It's about werewolves. It's a male-male romance. And werewolves, really, Steve? Former English teacher? Werewolves. And the main character is supposed to be a little... slow is how he calls it. Just not as fast on the uptake. Kind of, simple in his head, but so extraordinary in his heart. I felt like this book, which was over 18 hours, was excessively long, was like a spiral going down the drain, and was more whiny and love-sick meandering than Twilight. I just couldn't stand the, but I love you, I always will, but I can't, but I'm so angry with you, but this, and then they go and do the exact same thing that they were pissed off about at the other person, and I just, never say never that I might not try the second one, but, I liked the character development and the ensemble, but, man, just kept going and whining and there was nothing new to it. I just felt like it was, So I don't recommend Wolf Song by T.J. Klune, which disheartens me because I do appreciate him for the Tales of Verania series, but I may try some of it. He has several other series, so I may try some of them and let you know. No stash enhancement this week, but I do have things coming. Stash enhancement was wardrobe this week, but I do have some things coming. This episode's giveaway, we are going to be giving away a skein of Cascade yarns, 128 Superwash, and a black. But who cannot do something with a black bulky? Super quick, versatile, can go with anything. So this was generously gifted to the podcast, so I pulled it from our prize bin. To enter to win this skein of yarn, you need to leave a comment in the YouTube video with an answer to this prompt. How would you define a genius? So, answer that prompt. It will be in the YouTube drop-down box below. The prompt will be there. Show notes are on dramaticknits.com, but you need to leave a comment on the YouTube video with How would you define a genius to be entered to win this game? I would love if you would leave, if you would give me the thumbs up and subscribe, but by no means is that necessary because I don't use subscribing on YouTube. I use a RSS feeder to get my podcasts. So there's that. So that's going to be this episode's giveaway. Moving in to a round of applause. Last episode, we were giving away a Laura Nelkin beaded cuff giveaway that generously was gifted to the podcast. It doesn't have its original packaging, but it has the beads, the yarn, and the flossing tool, as well as the pattern. And I used a random YouTube comment picker to select the winner. The winner is Jennifer Berquist, and Jennifer said, so many foods. Oh, by the way, the prompt last episode was, what would be the worst food to be liquefied and drunk through a straw? So many amazing foods. Generally, the consensus was seafood, and the winner was no different. So many foods sound awful to drink through a straw, but the first thing that came to my mind was sushi. Yuck. Gotta agree. Sushi is probably gonna be disgusting. And unfortunately, we read stories, and I know it's happened, that people had to have that happen. You know, their jaws are locked shut, or, you know, different things. And somebody said they had to go get their kid a Happy Meal and pretty much put everything in the blender. And they said it wasn't that bad. Anyway, congratulations, Jennifer Belquist. I did leave a comment under your comment asking you to email me at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com with your name, address, and email address, and I'll get that prize out to you. It seems that our YouTube comment winners are either not watching future videos or not seeing their replies because very few have contacted me to claim their prizes, is what it is. But I can't go tracking off after people. So I do leave you a comment and I announce it here. So congratulations, Jennifer. I hope to hear from you soon. We'll get your prize out to you. I do want to remind you to enter anything you finish this month into the August 2020 Race to the Finished Object contest, which is hosted on the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry. While I do understand that Ravelry might not be the most populated place right now and that there's issues, I do hear the concerns. Unfortunately, that is the easiest way for me to do this and to do this for free. So if you would like me to enter something for you on your behalf on Ravelry, you can always shoot me an email either at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com or mrdramatic1064@gmail.com. Either one of those will be fine. And if you email me a picture and your project details and your Ravelry name, I will post on your behalf, and that way if you win, we can work that way. For the month of August, we will only have a prize. We do not have a featured designer. So if you are a designer or you are friends with a designer who might want to be featured on the podcast, we would love to feature you. All it requires is for you to donate one pattern a month, and we will host a knit along for your designs for the entirety of your being featured on the podcast, which is anywhere from 1 to 6 months. All right, let's move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. Our new colorway for the month of September, I dyed yesterday, and so I'm excited for it. We haven't decided on a name. It's going to be a little bit more neutral, not so bright. We're moving into the fall, so I wanted to go with something a little more rustic. And so I hope you'll enjoy it. So stay tuned to Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry to see what that looks like, since I won't be recording again until after the 1st. We do have our Cascade Characters mini skein yarn club. This month is being shipped out right now. If you would like to get in on that, you can sign up via the homepage at leadingmenfiberarts.com. Scroll on down till you see the sign up link and it'll take you to the Google form. You can of course always add on the Katrinkles Stitch Marker of the Month set to your subscription, We do get a number of them to sell in the shop, but they do go usually pretty quickly. So if you are part of the club and want to add that on to make sure that you get it, if you are currently part of the club, just send me an email and I will add that to your invoice. If you are signing up for the club, it is now on the sign up form where you can add that as an option. We also have started a loyalty program for Leading Men Fiber Arts. I'm so excited. Square has offered this as a option for a while. We've known about it, but it is, of course, like anything that is super profitable in e-commerce, you can add on this and add on that for a monthly subscription. And so the loyalty program is another expense for us. But we thought that it would be a really good idea now that our website is run through Square and our point of sale for when we're on the road, and hopefully in our new open studio will be run through Square. So all you have to do to sign up is enter your phone number, and that is how you sign in or check in. Either when you see us in person, you'll have the ability to check in and enter your phone number, or when you check out via the website, you will enter your phone number and it will add your loyalty points there. We give you 1 point per dollar earned, and you can get use as little as 10 points. So every 10 points is $1 off your purchase. In increments, of course, I can't do so many. I can do a ton of rewards, but I don't want it to get very crazy. So I set it up, 10 points gets you $1 off your future purchase. 20 is 20 points. I think 50 is $5 off. Or, 10 is $1, 50 is $5, 100 points is $10 off, 200 points is $20 off. I did add a little thing in there that is 60 points gets you a free mini skein. All it really does is get you $6 off your purchase. And it applies if you have a mini skein in your cart. But yeah, so I'm super excited about this. You can rack up points, just by shopping through us, and you get money back on future purchases. So super excited about that. We do have 2 knit-alongs going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group on Ravelry. The first is the Jelly Bean Row knit-along that is designed by Lori Wagner. The design was published via Notions Mag, and that ends at the end of this month. I think we have 2 completed shawls in there right now. The price for that is a $50 gift certificate to the shop, as well as several other prizes donated by Notions Mag and Lori Wagner. We then have another knit-along for the Irresistible Poncho, and I'm not sure if anybody is participating in this one, but it is a really cool worsted weight poncho with armholes, great for the coming winter months. We have that going for 3 months, and the grand prize for that will be a $100 gift card to the shop, as well as I think some patterns from the designer, who is Kim Malone. We do have a new knit-along coming out with a brand new pattern that will be released on September 1st, featuring our soliloquy base. Stay tuned for that, because you can get an excellent deal on yarn and the pattern for the first couple of days, and then still get a great deal there on out for the duration of the knit-along, which is going to be for September and October. So upcoming shows this weekend, we are traveling up to Appleton, Wisconsin to do a trunk show at Casting On. We are excited. We've never been up there before, so we are leaving super early on Friday to drive the 5.5, 6 hours up there and get set up. We will be up there on Friday from 2 until 6 p.m. for the first part of the trunk show, and then we will be there all day Saturday. They are extending their hours from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, so come out and come visit us. Please bring a mask. It is required. They do require that you use hand sanitizer and wear a mask in the store to shop, but we would love to see you. We will have a variety of our yarn bases as well as kits and a few other things. So come on out and check us out. And then last but not least, our annual birthday sale is coming up next week. Can you believe it? My birthday is on the 24th on Monday. I turn 35. And the shop's birthday is on the 25th, and the shop turns 7. It's crazy. So the annual birthday sale is 30% off everything in the shop. And the coupon code is birthday. That will run Monday and Tuesday all day. If you are subscribed to our newsletter, and if you're not, you should, because you are going to be granted a special coupon code for early access on Sunday evening. So look out for that. I will be sending out a newsletter on Sunday evening with a special coupon code that will work for this few hours on Sunday evening so that you can get your shopping in early. Just one of the perks of being in our newsletter group. So that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me as Dramatic Knits on Ravelry. If it is something regarding Leading Men Fiber Arts, I do ask that you email me at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com. Instagram messages get lost, Facebook messages get lost, social media messages just aren't my priority. I do get to them when I can, but with so many different places to look, email is always best. And I would say that most small business owners are going to tell you that. So, other than that, I do encourage you to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and our Ravelry group. And you can find the shop at Leading Men Fiber Arts at leadingmenfiberarts.com. And check out the podcast in our Ravelry group and dramaticknits.com, as well as YouTube, where you can enter for our episode giveaways. So until I see you again in 2 weeks, I hope you make something dramatic.